side of what happened at my property at 737 West Main. Again, I don't have a lot of information what the city council has made their decision upon. All I can go really on what some of the kind of quotes that they made in the newspaper. My property, I come in from Tennessee in June of this year, and when I arrived here in June, I done some work to my property at the building to clean it up. And in June, me and Mr. Nelson had a conversation that that the grass needed cut. And at that point in time, I'd already had cut the grass. And I asked him then what he needed cut. He never could give me an answer of what needed cut on my property. I've had other people working on my property besides myself and my son. And according to Mr. Nelson, nothing ever got done in the whole month of June. And he claims it was in May, but as I give Mr. Moore a booklet, some statements of people from Tennessee who can testify that had never even been here to even have a conversation with Mr. Nelson. And he said in that conversation in May that I told him that I had just got into town and that I would clean my property up. I'm trying to figure out exactly, I'm kind of in the dark here about how this whole thing was done over a lot of things like this. I wasn't here in May, so I couldn't have possibly have had a conversation with this gentleman in May. It's been said that I threatened him at some point in time. I don't know if that was in June, July, May. Again, there's a statement in here from a witness of a conversation that me and Mr. Moore had where there was no threats made. I asked the man to leave my property is because when he showed up and handed me an order, or I guess it's an order, whatever this thing here is, he handed me this, and I made an attempt to show this man the work that was done on my property. And at this point, this man's going to call me a liar. I have a witness to that. And when I have, one thing I'm not is a liar. I mean, I may not be a good public speaker. I may not have the prettiest yard down, but I'm not a liar. And he tells me there's been no work done on my property since I've been here. When, again, James Hayes, I hired James Hayes to help me on my property because my son ended up in the hospital because at the time the heat was bothering his dad a little bit. So I hired him to help me. There was bushes cut down in my yard, and according to Mr. Nelson, that it was so grown up you couldn't tell the overgrowth from the bushes. The bushes that was cut in my yard, Mr. Moore's been to my home. I have no front yard. All that was there was bushes. There was nothing else there. There's 3 trees and bushes. That's all that was there. I have very little yard to start with. I'm just trying to find out why basically that I was singled out. Again, if you come to my property even to this day, the property that adjoins my property all the way around the backyard, which is all the yard that I have, the neighbors on one side got couches growing up in the weeds. The overgrowth is growing into my yard, but yet I'm in violation. I got no furniture and garbage growing up in my weeds. The pictures that's taken of the inside of my house. I mean, you can take pictures, and this was done the day that they come out and mow the grass. Page 4 of the packet that I gave you. They took pictures of the inside of my house, and they can pose a picture. And with this picture, they tell you that I'm draining water outside of my home from a washing machine. Mr. Moore came to my house and seen the machine. Was it a washing machine? No. But yet, everybody was told that it was a washing machine draining out of my house because of the water hose. And if you know the story behind the water hose is busted. I put it there in the windowsill and ain't got to fix the hose yet, which ain't got nothing to do with draining water, but he seemed to think that the water hose was hooked up to something. And he's told people that the water hose is hooked up to something out of draining water out of my home. It's things like this that I don't understand. I don't understand why I was singled out. I don't understand why, statements was made that I threatened the man when I never did. when I asked a man to leave my property, I think anybody's entitled to that right. You know, if somebody shows up to your property, whoever it is, and acts unprofessional, you know, be it my property, your property, you got the right to ask them people to leave, no matter who it is. I mean, there's a professional way of doing things. There's no reason to be making false statements, to be making backdated conversations that we never had. You know, and I'd just like to, you know, find out where I was in violation when he come out, and at the end of June, when I asked him, man, what else do you want me to cut? There was nothing else to cut. You know, if I'm in violation, you have to be able to show somebody where they're in violation. You know, you can't just say you're in violation, and we can't back that up. That's all I've asked this whole time. This whole time, that's all I've asked. Show me where I was in violation. They're good. And then, you know, as I try to find out information about this, what's happened since July, you know, I go to the police department. They send me a letter to tell me to talk to this man. Why? You know, there was, you know, a law broken in my home. Why should I have to talk to this man? You know, that's handled by the police. And it was done through this, and, you know, I feel it was harassment. You know, and you know, again, I'm sorry that, you know, I'm not a very good public speaker, but this is my feelings, and from the things that's been said and done, I mean, I think it's clear. You know, this was handled out of the sole purpose that I asked a man to leave my property. He feels, and quoted in the newspaper, that between the hours of 8 and 5, Monday through Friday, he can do whatever he wants to with my property. You know, and my son's sitting there witnessing this. You know, and I try to distill in him an honesty, integrity. But yet here sits a man calling me a liar. What am I to do with it? You know, and it's just frightening to me that it's being backed up by the city council. I don't know what you people have been told. I really don't. I'm blind to that. I can't get no information. I don't know what you've been showed. But if you've been showed pictures, well, you know, I can show you pictures where he was saying I was draining water out of my house. It's the text behind the picture. You know, anybody's welcome to come to my house at any time. That property at 737 West Main Street was dilapidated when I purchased that house. It had burned at one time. I mean, the roof was being lifted off by trees growing up around it. You know, I feel I've done a fair job to the city by cleaning that property up as much as I have thus far. I put a lot of money into that house, a lot of time, a lot of sweat. And to me, I mean, you know, this is the things that you get for trying to improve the city. You know, me and my family's planning on making a home here until this point. We don't feel that we would be comfortable living here alone. And you know, this is something that, like I said, we put a ton of money in that house. We wouldn't have done that if we didn't plan on living here. You know, we put new doors, new windows. That place was grown up from the street back when we bought it. You couldn't even barely see the house. The people we bought it off of forgot they owned it. It'd been there sitting there so long grown up. You know, it ain't finished yet, but one day it'll be a nice house. You know, I feel we've done a lot for that area. But I mean, again, you know, the property when we bought it was I mean, it was uninhabited. You know, again, I don't have the prettiest yard even today, but you know, one day that will change. But I still don't feel I was in violation of no city order. It's that I can't be told or showed where I was in violation of. And that's basically all I have.
Any action from the council?
Ms. Hamlet, the main thing that you want to find out is whether you violate.
Yes, sir.
I think that's already been done, hasn't it, Mr. Wade? That was my understanding, the council's under the decision. I mean, the question now is the decision. Really, the only decision for the council based upon action already taken is, the issue tonight is whether or not the assessment for cleaning up the property should be upheld. So, If you decide the assessment stands, and it's $255 or something like that to clean the property, if you decide it stands, then you take no action. If you decide it should be reduced or eliminated, then you need to make a motion that you choose not to assess that for the cleanup of the property. And that's really the only decision you have to make on this issue. That is, either nothing, in which case the assessment stands, or you reverse the assessment or reduce the assessment. Hearing no action from the council, I'll take it that you receive and stands.
How many hours do we have tied up in
3 hours.
this cleanup?
3 hours.
Just to refresh my memory, the 255 is what the labor cost and do the clean.
Correct. With additional $10.30 of postage and publications, for a total of $265.30.
Mr. Hamlet, are you requesting the council to discuss the fine?
Yes, I am.
If I may, it's not really a fine, it's just a recouping of cost.
Yes, I am. I mean, like I said, for the reasons of how it was done. If it was done because I was in violation of something, that's one thing, but if it was done because I asked them to leave the property, that's another. I mean, it was said that, they're not gonna put up with people like us, threatening, and again, that never happened. And I proved by statements that some of this stuff is falsified to start with, that's been stated. And that's why I'm asking, if there's a reason to change dates and outright lie about some of the stuff that's going on, there's got to be a reason behind it. That's my whole purpose today, is why. And like I said, we say a prayer, a pledge of allegiance when you start this meeting. That don't back up lies, that don't back up backdated information. That's, I'm just wondering, where I stand if I allow this to go on today, and even, what's been going on since then, what happens when it happens again, because there's nothing to stop it. I mean, I got lucky and caught a lot of the things that was done wrong. Next time or somebody else might not be that lucky. If this happens to somebody else, they might not know what to do. But I feel a man has a right to stand up when something's done wrong, be it by a city official or anybody else.
Did Mr. Nelson not tell you what your violation was, what the violation was?
He never could tell me what needed cleaned off that property. Again, and I have a witness today, I asked the man directly. All right, and I tried to show him that day he come out, which is the day he had this yellow sheet of paper. I tried to show him that day. I burned brush off my property. Again, James Hayes had helped me, his mother had helped me. And I asked him then, I said, well, what else you want to cut? And that's when the man proceeded to call me a liar. Nothing's been done here. When you're not even willing to look, but yet you're willing to call somebody a liar, that's totally unprofessional. And again, that don't constitute a city ordinance. It nowhere in a city ordinance that gives him a right to come out and call me a liar.
He called you a liar.
Yes, sir, he
He
did.
said,
Yes, sir.
you're a liar.
Yes, sir. And that's why the man was asked to leave my property, for no other reason. I didn't threaten him. I asked him to leave my property. I don't feel a man should be talked to that way, especially when it's not true.
But Mr. Hamlin, in the phone call when I answered the phone, you did threaten him, and you did cuss me that he not return to your property. I made him enforce the city ordinance. Had you made any attempt to clean your property, if you would have told us
Sir,
anything,
you're
I'll
stating-
get on it next week or next year, we'd have left you alone. But I'm the one that put him on you.
And you just admitted you done it at a vindictive age.
No, sir, you
Because I
cussed
threatened.
me on the phone.
Okay.
Any other questions
all I
from
need.
the council? Does this council wish to take any action? Hearing no action, your decision will stand. Thank you, Mr. Hamlin.
Thank y'all for your time.
New order, it's not new order, but excuse me, new business, Mr. Whitelaw, can you update us on the minutes?
Yes, sir, thank you, Mayor. Had a brief review of our financial report for October. Didn't get my packet till yesterday, so I had a chance.
Are you out of town again?
But I will say, as far as revenues, we're in good shape. We're running a little ahead of budget. And I went through each department, and I'd like to say for the month of October, each department expenditures were under what would be a 1 month or a monthly average. So I'd like to compliment each of our department heads for their hard work and diligence in trying to keep the costs down in the city, because that's so important. So I think we're looking pretty good.
Were all packets loaded? I'm sorry. We got some late. We make that happen.
Maybe I didn't check my mailbox, but
I got mine Friday.
All right, let's go. Any questions for Mr. Whitelaw? Financial's good. All right, appreciate you, Sam. Our second item of business is to consider an ordinance for the payment of franchise fees by South Arkansas Telephone Company to the city of Magnolia, describing other matters related thereto and declaring an emergency. Ms. Wall, at your convenience, would you please read that ordinance?
An ordinance providing for the payment of franchise fees by South Arkansas Telephone Company to the city of Magnolia, Arkansas, describing other matters related thereto and declaring an emergency. Whereas the city of Magnolia, Arkansas is the city of the first class, organized and positioned in and pursuant to the laws of the state of Arkansas. Whereas pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated section 14-301, the city is authorized to charge a franchise fee to public authorities for which certain charges may be permitted to occupy the streets, highways, or other public places within the city. Whereas South Arkansas Telephone Company desires to provide data transmission services, including but not limited to internet services within the city of Magnolia, Arkansas, through underground fiber optic cables. Whereas subject to the terms hereof, the city is willing to allow South Arkansas Telephone Company the privilege of using the right of way of the city streets, highways, and other public places in the city for a period of 10 years. Whereas the purpose of this ordinance is to grant South Arkansas Telephone Company the privilege of using the right of way of the city's streets, highways, and other public places in the city for a period of 10 years, and to establish the franchise fees to be paid by South Arkansas Telephone Company. Now therefore be it ordained by the city council of the city of Magnolia, Arkansas, that section 1, South Arkansas Telephone Company may use the right of way of the city's streets, highways, and other public places in the city for the purpose of providing data transmission services, including but not limited to internet services to customers through underground fiber optic cables for a period of 10 years. Section 2, for the privilege of using the right of way of the city streets, highways, and other public places, South Arkansas Telephone Company shall A, pay to the city franchise fees in the amount of 5% of its current year's gross revenue collected from customers located in the corporate limits of the city. B, after the city's payment of a one-time hookup charge of $4,800, provide 25 minutes of fiber optic access to all city departments without additional charge. Section 3, the franchise fees levied by this ordinance shall be payable by South Arkansas Telephone Company quarterly each year, with payment being due no later than the 15th day of the month following the end of each quarter of the year. Section 4, if it becomes necessary for the city to expand its use of the right of ways of the city streets, highways, and other public places, then South Arkansas Telephone Company, on the request of the city, shall relocate or raise or lower its fiber optic cables and rights of way of the city streets, highways, or other public places. The expense of such removal or location, raising or lowering of the fiber optic cables shall be paid by South Arkansas Telephone Company. South Arkansas Telephone Company shall remove, relocate, raise, or lower its fiber optic cables and right of ways of city streets, highways, or other public places within 90 days of the notice of the city to do so. Section 5, nothing contained in this ordinance shall be construed as giving South Arkansas Telephone Company any exclusive privileges. Section 6, the provisions of this ordinance shall not code be accepted, and any provision shall for any reason be held illegal or invalid, it shall not affect the validity of the remainder of the ordinance. Section 7, it is hereby found that South Arkansas Telephone Company desires to provide data transmission services throughout underground fiber
administrative ordinance, so it only requires one meeting. Okay. You wanna have some discussion? Okay. Questions, comments, anything?
I have a comment or a question.
Fine.
Under this, who's, is it their sole responsibility to replace the property back to the original way it was when they start moving these, or is it the city's responsibility? I guess my question is, they're gonna be somebody's yard, is it their responsibility to put it back on this ordinance, or is it our responsibility to put it back? Then we've given them permission to use the right of way.
Well, I would say it's theirs because they run down 82 and hook up the university and the business park, and they come down 79 and hook up all the public schools and Columbia Christian. And at this point, I'm satisfied with their work, so, if need be, I'll make a note when I talk to Mark tomorrow and just confirm that. Because I don't believe their intentions are, they're not going to hook up households. They'll sell service to the providers that do it.
Have they given us any estimate on the gross revenue they feel like they would have in the city of Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Are they gonna be competing, like, AT&T and the other phone company, or is this something different?
Yes, sir. Any other questions or comments from the council?
Who are they?
Oh, South Arkansas Telephone is located in Hampton.
Where?
Hampton. Met with them last year. Hampton's part of the Golden Triangle. Honestly, there was discussion early on last year, and I didn't do as much of it, but those folks got on the ball. They're coming down from Hope, and they're gonna have everything between, say, Hope and, Monson. They're gonna hook up SAU Tech, so Arkansas University. And they're gonna provide the households in Magnolia can take advantage of it too soon. Any other questions, comments? Are we ready to vote?
Does it affect AT&T or anything to do with current internet?
Well, at this time, no. I mean, if you choose, which I don't see them selling internet to AT&T, there's been some discussion of talking with Suddenlink to have high speed. So if these Suddenlink customers want to go that, I'm sure we're gonna have that option through Suddenlink. But it's not, you don't have to take one or the other. If you're AT&T, you can continue through AT&T.
Does anyone else have the access to the right of ways now?
Oh, yeah. CenterPoint, Energy, Suddenlink has our own.
I'm talking about in their line.
I wouldn't say so, because your overhead's got all your AT&T and your, Suddenlink is overhead, in the
I know
ground.
the other people do, but I was wondering about
Yeah,
in this line.
not in the ground, no, I wouldn't think.
I see it as an asset for Magnolia Specialist, SAU, and I think the hospital too, and many other hospitals. They think there might be some going with the rural areas, Emerson.
Because they're gonna turn into an 82, or they've already gone 82, so they're gonna have a little way to hook up.
That's what they're laying out here all summer, maybe 2 here all the way.
Right. So it's ready, they can switch just real soon. And, like I said, I talked to him now for 2 or 3 months trying to work out details and get approve, and it doesn't really have to be a roll call. Okay, let's have a roll call, Mr. Wright.
And
Is there a motion?
motion to
Oh,
adopt.
I'm sorry, yeah, all right, we got a motion and a second. Now we need a vote. Mr. Fair. Take your time.
Larry Taylor,
Yes.
Margie Rhodes. Yes. Bill Cheatham,
Yes.
Gary Farah,
Yes.
Sam Whitelaw,
Yes.
Mike Lewis,
Yes.
James Moore,
Yes.
Rodney Peterson.
Yes.
Okay, move for C.
There needs to be a separate vote on
I was
that.
gonna ask if we need to, so we need a motion and a second for adopting the emergency clause.
Yes.
Okay,
I make a motion to move second.
there's a motion and a second to adopt the emergency clause. Mr. Chief, please, second. Roll call when you got that, Mr. Wright.
Margie Rhodes. Yes. Bill Cheatham,
Yes.
Gary Farah,
Yes.
Sam Whitelaw,
Yes.
Mike Lewis,
Yes.
James Moore,
Yes.
Rodney Peterson.
Yes.
Larry Talley.
Yes.
And just as a side note, it would save our city over the course of 10 years, $16,800 for what we pay now. Finance Committee meeting Thursday, what time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. You're all welcome.
We're trying, I think, Council Lady Russ was trying to squeeze it in. We're gonna try to accommodate her.
Thank you.
Thursday, 1 o'clock. All is welcome. Our next meeting will be December the 10th. The county's gonna postpone their meeting until after we meet. And we can try to adopt our budget that night if that's good with everybody. So we're gonna work it out Thursday. Anything else to come before the council at this time?
Hey,
Mr.
hopefully it works, I've been trying to get a couple of speed bumps.
We're still in the street lights here.
Every month. Just, you got to work too well.
I think it's just you, Councilman. Mr. Nelson.
Yes, sir.
Get with Councilman Moore after the meeting, get the locations and take care of that in the morning, because that's the third time these issues to me.
Ross and Kelso,
Yeah.
they're turned in twice now, but I'll take it.
I'm picking on you, Ryan. Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn? And a second? There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We adjourn. How you doing?
You doing all right? Just fine, thank you, nice, sir. Hey, Mike. How are you?